Good evening, everyone. Welcome to session 2 of our 5th edition Featured Artist Q&As. My name is Tiffany Ignacio.
And I'm your co-host, Veronica Castillo.
And we will be your hosts for tonight. Just to give everyone an idea of how our event will run, for the first 40 minutes or so, we will be asking our featured artists a variety of questions. Then we'll open it up to questions from the audience. So for those who are joining us, and if you have any questions for our guests, feel free to enter them into the chat at any time, and we will save them and address them later. For those who are specifically joining us on AirMeet and want to appear on camera and have a quick interaction with our artists, just click on the raise your hand button off to the side.
Sweet. So without further ado, let us introduce you to our guest tonight. Our first featured artist is Tyler Yarbro. Tyler Yarbro is an idea, and ideas cannot be killed. He's watched V for Vendetta 72 times. His favorite part is when it ends, and he says quietly to himself, "This is film school. Many have tried to end his life, many have failed." He spends his time immortalizing himself in his short films. Have you heard of Horcruxes? It's kind of like that, but better, because he cannot be killed, as previously mentioned. So beware. In short, Tyler Yarbro is an up-and-coming director-editor currently working as a coordinator for a post-production house employed by Netflix in Los Angeles. His work includes award-winning comedic short films such as Pawn Power, Christmas Dinner, The Talk, and more. Tyler continues to challenge himself in what he can create with his first dramatic narrative in the works. So thank you, Tyler, for being here. That is really fun to read. Great job on the bio.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, that's all true, by the way. I'm actually planning on watching V for Vendetta tonight again. So
nice.
73.
Yeah.
73 and counting. Okay, as for our second guest, we have Jeremy Le as well. So Jeremy Le is a cinematographer, VFX artist, and a director based in Las Vegas, Nevada. He graduated from UNLV with a bachelor's in film in 2015. He started a YouTube channel with his best friend Danny Shepard called Ismahawk while he was still taking classes. The channel took off when they made a web series called Nightwing, the series, and they've been building themselves into a company and a brand since then with over 600,000 subscribers as of 2021. It was through this that Jeremy picked up his skills in filmmaking from top to bottom, including things from visual effects, special effects, and prop and costume making, etc. Recently, Ismahawk has pivoted away from traditional YouTube content creation and is moving into narrative filmmaking space, with a focus on pushing what is possible in independent film with visual effects, action, and diverse storytelling. Jeremy is driven to create a community that drives and uplifts all artists across all walks of life with Ismahawk's platform. As Jeremy would say, it's cheesy, I know, but we're family here.
Oh,
That's nice.
I don't even know what I'm saying.
Me neither, man.
Yeah.
I don't know why I wrote what I wrote.
Okay, so on behalf of the board, we would like to once again thank you guys for being here today. And before we jump into questions, please sit back and enjoy a video showcasing the wonderful work of our featured artist.
'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house holiday cheer was present, with even the mouse.
Who said that?
Kevin, Karina, Chloe, Eden, Spiro, Kenzie the Stresser, everyone was there, even Lefty, the hairdresser.
Okay, I don't know what's going on here, but my name's David.
Lefty exclaimed to the table, as his friend's secret nickname was no longer a fable.
You guys call me Lefty?
No. I don't know why anyone would call you that. That's crazy.
I had a cancerous testicle.
A much larger world outside of this. The only two characters that we see in the short film have so much backstory to them, just visually, and the emotional context that they bring in just their actions and their looks and stuff like that. It makes the world feel much larger than what we see.
Yay!
Wow.
That's
You
it.
guys killed it.
Yeah. Thank you to Jem, who edited that video for us this past week. And so both of you are very talented individuals, and we're so excited to get started. So to start things off, we're going to do some general questions, and then later on, we'll just start alternating between some individual questions. So to get people to get to know you a little bit more, let's start a little bit linearly. So our first question is, you both attended film school at UNLV. What has been the biggest lessons you've learned both in college and afterwards in post-grad?
Ooh. I think kind of my biggest lesson coming out of college was, that's the question, right? Coming out of college, not like while in college? Okay, just want to make sure I'm not hearing things. Okay, cool. So coming out of college, I think it was just don't worry too much. Don't stress about like not having anything like lined up, I guess, coming out. I think that when you're coming out of college, like what you kind of should be focusing on, I think, is making relationships and just like friendships and stuff, and just like making sure that you have like a team of people and like you're actually working and like doing stuff. I think doing that, you kind of set a stage for yourself to succeed. And I think that was kind of something that I learned coming out, because I was stressing out, like, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do, but I ended up doing all right. So
Look at where you are now.
yeah,
Turned out just fine.
Look at this! Wow! Look at this.
Yeah, because you're in LA, right?
Big leagues.
Sick. For me personally, I'd say coming out of college, or the college film school experience, is about teaching you the art of filmmaking, but no one teaches you the business of filmmaking. Mm-hmm. And in our industry, literally is the marriage of artistry versus industry, and it's a fine line to straddle. And if filmmaking is something that you want to be your career, that you do full time, then you have to understand how to treat it like a business as well, because it's a very fine line to straddle, and that's a hard lesson to learn for anyone. And but it's not something that you should. I mean, easier said than done, but don't stress over it. I don't know how else to like describe it, but because everything comes naturally with time, and the more you work and the hard work that you put in, things will just come. I know that sounds so out there, but like the more I do this, the more I realize that things really do just come if you put in the hard work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So creatively, can you tell us more about how, your thought process when you create something? Where does it really begin? Is it easy to come up with ideas, or what inspires you? Tell us about how, what's your thought process and creativity?
Tyler?
So I get all my ideas from this guy in the apartment next to me, and then he just writes down all the scripts and then hands them to me. And I don't know where he comes from. I asked him one day where he gets his ideas, and then he told me that he goes down to the neighbor next to him, and then he gives him the ideas, and then like he just writes them all down and he just gives them to me. And so I asked him, well, did you ask him? Where'd you get his ideas? And he's like, yeah, there's this lady down the street that I get my ideas from. I think
it's a game of telephone.
yeah, it's a game. I think I heard one of the people from Monty Python answer a question like that with that kind of response. Because he doesn't know where his ideas come from, and I don't think I know where the fuck my ideas come from either. Like I think ideas and being creative and like figuring out where things come from is like it's. I think that the best way to get ideas is to hang out with friends and just live your life just normally. I wouldn't like try to ever like force. I definitely have like sat down and like tried to write something and like, but I would say that my best stuff has come from just it just kind of happens, I guess. I don't know. It's such an ethereal concept, like trying to like come up with something, and like
So
yeah.
for your ideas that you actually execute, do those are those the ones that you sit down to really try to think of it, or is it just something that sparks all of a sudden and it gives you inspiration?
That's good. I think for me, it's like when I think a good example of this is like for Pawn Power. What ended up happening is like I had this idea, for this like I saw this poster one day that was like this little pawn that was like looking into a mirror and he saw like a king, and he was like, and the text was like some bullshit like you can be anything you want to be, and I thought that was bullshit because that's like literally the only piece the pawn cannot be, and I was like this is dumb, like I have to put a stop to this, and so there was like some origination of an idea with that. I was like that'd be funny to do something. And for like months, I didn't write anything for it. I think I even told Blake in a car ride one time that this is just like an idea I had, and I had no other idea. It was just this like that would be funny if like the pawns just died. I don't know. And beyond that, I had nothing. But then one day, it just kind of something like clicked, and I just like started writing down storyboards and like writing out like, okay, here's what happens. Here's like the storyline and all that, and I don't really, I don't know, but I think the good ideas really stick around. Like they all your bad ideas will just naturally you'll forget about, I think, and then like good ideas will come kind of like and just stick there, and you'll know that that's something that you like. At least that's something else that I've heard from elsewhere that I don't know. From my neighbor, actually, he told me that. So, yeah.
I feel like with bad ideas, though, they don't just go away. They change in your mind over time as you grow as a person in your experiences. So, like the little pieces of a bad idea, it might be bad in your mind at the time, but eventually those bad ideas, whatever they may be, they kind of come full circle eventually somehow.
Yeah, for sure.
Ideas. I feel like that's several different parts to that, because to me, story ideas specifically are kind of just abundant everywhere, because I feel like every person is a creative person. Like That's why you're human. You have autonomy over your own mind and being able to just come up with things. That's what makes us human. And so the thing that sets us apart from each other in terms of filmmaking and storytelling are how we execute those ideas, because of who we are, our individuality, our experiences, personal experiences. The way you tell your stories, it gives you a unique identity, because there's no story that hasn't already been told. I mean, we're in the year 2021. Humans have been around for what, 60,000 years, something like that. Like, there's storytelling on the cave walls and ancient prehistoric sites. So like there isn't a story that hasn't already been told. The way that you execute it, using whatever it is that's at your disposal, with the change in society, change in technology, that's what sets those stories apart. My personal opinion.
Wow, that's really good.
Yeah.
As for ideas for us, like ideas, I feel like always float around based on your passion. Like the passion is what breeds the idea, and we will always have, like, when I say we, I mean me and my team and Ismahawk in general. Like, an idea, you kind of just have that in your back pocket type deal, where because we're passionate about these things, passionate about storytelling. It can be a personal experience that we want to eventually put down on film, or it might be comic books, superheroes, video games, stuff like that spark, like, because we feel so passionate about it and we love it so much, ideas just start coming naturally because we want to see more of the thing that we love, kind of deal. So we'll have ideas in that sense and have it in our back pocket, and the way that we execute it is if an opportunity arises, whether it be from a client giving us money to actually do it, or we crowdfund, or we try to do it ourselves out of our own pocket. The execution is what sets it apart, and sometimes you have to kind of sit on an idea for a while before it can come to fruition. There you go. Put a little bow on that.
That was a great answer. To jump off of that and creating the kind of art that you guys do make, how do you avoid boxing yourself into a specific genre when it becomes known for you to make a certain type of film?
I think it's really up to the creator, like, as to what they want to end up doing. Like, you can keep making whatever you like to make. If you like making a certain type of thing, like, and that, like, and you're confident in that, go for it. Keep going and keep making that stuff. But if you feel like you want to branch out, or if you feel like you can do something more or even different, that's just on kind of you to kind of extrapolate on that and, like, develop yourself as, like, an artist. And I think for me, I'm trying to kind of do more than just, like, a comedy kind of thing, or like a sketch or a skit kind of narrative, where it's like, if it's over 5 minutes, it's like too long and you've already lost people's attention. I'm trying to kind of, like, escape that ideology and, like, branch out into something more, which is, like, whether it be like a feature or like hour-long television or whatever it may be. So I think for anybody out there that feels like you're stuck in a rut, or like you think you don't know, just really explore what you're actually making, I think. And that would be kind of my advice to anybody that feels that way.
Do you do any kind of personal development on yourself, like, aside from your filmmaking? And does it affect your filmmaking in any way?
I try my best to never change myself. I try to just be like, if I make a mistake, I never change that mistake. I'm like, this is me. This is me. This is who I am. No, I don't do that. I think like, I really do like personal development. Like, I think a really good example is, like, going to the gym. Like, going to the gym is like something just baseline, just makes me feel like good, or like just working out in general. this pandemic really sucks though, because I haven't been able to go to the gym in I don't know how long, and I just like,
Oh man,
dude, I feel like I'm jelly. I don't know.
how do I even walk anymore?
Yeah, I'm starting to get like hip cramps. I've never had hip cramps. I didn't even know there
Right?
was enough like space in my hips to get a cramp there. But
Yeah,
it's happening.
yoga.
God, I need to try something. But it's just like, I think definitely personal development can help like improve my creativity in that space for sure, like 100%. Like if you feel bad in like one area, like doing that has nothing to do with storytelling, improving on that and like working on that, you might be surprised at like what you can come up with after fixing this problem that's like been on your mind for like what's going on in your personal life. I think I said personal like 7 times. What did you say, Jeremy? Okay.
Does that help you like branch out in your ideas too?
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah. I'd say that it's like you can't feel like stuck doing the same routine over and over again. I think doing more in that, like just other areas of your life, will help you like feel more complete as a person, probably. And
I think that's a great answer to how to branch out in your ideas. Like if you feel pigeonholed into one thing, I would suggest that what you just said.
Yeah, for sure.
For us at Ismahawk, regardless of what it is you want to, like, if you love doing a thing, you should absolutely keep doing it, because it helps you personally, because that's what you love to do. And getting pigeonholed into a certain subject or a type of thing, and speaking strictly on filmmaking, this comes back to the straddling the line of artistry versus industry, where sometimes someone will make an idea and it'll hit off in whatever your term of success is, and you end up trying to chase that success because it gives you gratification. And sometimes it gets to a point where that success is also tied into your livelihood, like your ability to pay your bills and actually live your life. And it's a tricky line to straddle, because do you go towards the industry or side of things and just like keep doing what you do because you have responsibilities to uphold, or do you go with the artistry side of it where you want to do something else, but it's hard to kind of branch from that because what you love to do is tied with your income type of deal. And this is something that no one ever talks about, because it's like, oh yeah, I want to make a YouTube channel doing this kind of thing, but now that YouTube channel is sustaining me and I can't branch out, because if the numbers dip, then I can't pay my bills next month, kind of deal, And to that, it's that's a hard lesson to learn, that never put all your eggs in one basket. And when it comes to the kind of industry that we live in, where we're all self-employed basically, and there's no job security, which, by the way, there's no job security in anything in the world. Newsflash. You need multiple sources of revenue to be able to do what you want to do. And talking on a completely technical and real side of things, that's how you are able to branch out. For us, for Ismahawk, for a while we were kind of pigeonholed into doing YouTube style content for superhero type stuff, right? And that's because that's what we were known for, and that's the kind of success that attracted us, like helped sustain us as a company. But after a while, it kind of it was inhibiting our growth. Like we kind of hit a plateau. And so the reason for the pivot to more narrative side of filmmaking, kind of away from the general, like the YouTube content that we were known for, is we had to sit down and ask ourselves, why did we start this in the first place? And asking the main questions, where we started Ismahawk because we wanted to make movies and no one was going to hand us a job. And because like we're all minorities here at Ismahawk, most of us anyway, that we can't just move to Hollywood and expect to get jobs right away. So why don't we do it ourselves? easier said than done, but if you're passionate about something, you're going to put your all into it, and that's what we did. And at that point, that was just basically opening up another door to be able to get into the industry. And at this point, we've been doing it, since, I don't know, 2011, 2012 or something like that. So it's been a minute. And we're starting to realize that, we're not really a fan of the way the industry works right now. So why don't, we're already working to change it. Why don't we, lean on that sword and keep going all the way? So we're not trying to fight to get into the system. We're fighting to get the system to come to us at this point. And that's why we're based here in Vegas. We're not moving to LA. People from LA come to us to work with us now, and we're fortunate to be able to do that. It takes a lot of work. It's not easy. So that's my answer.
So speaking of success, how do you define that for yourself?
Jeremy, you want to go first? I've been going first. I got to put you on the spot now, son.
Oh my God. Okay. When we first started out, success, the definition for success changes. And I feel like that's kind of similar to everyone's definition of success, because as you grow as a person, you have different priorities in life, and when we were younger, Danny and I, success meant having a big following, getting a lot of subscribers and getting a lot of views and stuff like that. Those are signals for what our definition of success was. And to a point, yes, that did help us get to where we want to go. But as we got older, your viewpoint changes. The way you view things in life change. And if we can just make one person happy, to us, that's already a success. Watching our videos, and that kind of helped change over time, because we get messages a lot on all of our platforms of people saying, "Oh, we've been watching you since we were in middle school, and now we're in college." And I'm like, "What the heck?" That blows my mind. And some people will message us saying that our videos and our podcast help them get through tough times, and all these stories just over time kind of change how we view the stuff that we make, the stories that we tell, because sometimes you won't know who it changes or who it touches. You just make it and you put it out there, and wherever it goes, it goes. So I'd say at this point, I would consider us successful in that regard. But success isn't just a one-time thing deal. It's not a solid construct of whatever it is. It's constantly changing. It's success. The word success and the definition of success is the journey, not the destination. That's how I see it. So always stay hungry, always keep working, pushing whatever it is you want to do, but also take time to look around you and take in the success that you're already in.
For sure.
There you go. Tyler?
Damn it. I needed more time, Jeremy. Okay. No, I think I totally agree. I think success is it's an ever-changing bar that you set, that you see the first bar in front of you, and that's I'm gonna get a camera. I want to get a camera and I want to shoot something. I remember that was a big thing for me. Just that was I had never made anything before, and I was I just wanted to do something. And then, that bar just kept moving from there, and it kept changing and it kept moving and it kept moving and it kept moving. And it's just you trip and fall a lot during that, just trying to actually hit this bar. And sometimes that bar can change, it can totally change the direction of where you're going, and it's just the important thing is that you're always setting goals for yourself, I think, and I think success to me is, being able to eat chocolate and make whatever and do whatever I want to do, I guess, just have the freedom to at least just write out cool ideas, and then eat chocolate on the side and just like have that. Like I can walk down, like I can literally go get Tonight Dough for like from Ben and Jerry's like whenever I want. Like that is sick.
Yeah,
I don't know.
you're an adult. You can do whatever you want.
I'm an adult. I can go. I can get Gushers. I can get Tonight Dough. I can stuff those fuckers in there, and I can just eat it like an animal. And Nadine can help me eat it as well. She's very sweet. She's very sweet.
One bite.
Yeah. I think that that's what success is to me.
Nice.
Yeah,
I like that.
Thank you.
Mine is matcha every single moment of the day. That's my success.
Oh yeah,
That's great.
absolutely.
You go, girl.
I know. Okay, so let's start transitioning to some individual questions. So let's start with Jeremy.
Oh, boy.
So an interesting that I just learned about you right before the Q&A started is that you're colorblind. How is that like as being like a cinematographer and your career?
Difficult to say the least. Not difficult, inconvenient. Let's say that. I don't know how to describe it. It's I mean that's what our tools are made for, like our vector scopes and stuff like that, and that's where the really technical side comes in, where I'll have stuff that kind of helps me judge what an image looks like. But when we're in visual effects, post, and just life in general, like I usually have a second pair of eyes that I can trust. Sometimes 3 sets of eyes to kind of help fall back upon. It's like, what does that look like to you? Because little did I know, or something that I recently learned is that everyone sees color differently. Like your definition of blue or what you see as blue is different from what I see as blue versus everyone else in the world. Because, that's just natural variance, So no one actually sees the right color. Also, it's a culturally, it's tied culturally too, because I'm Vietnamese, and in Vietnamese, I don't think there's a name specifically for blue and green separately. You kind of distinguish them by adding another adjective or a noun to it to define what that color is. So, like, for example, blue and green is màu xanh, but you don't know if it's blue or green that you're talking about unless you specify that it's tree green or leaf green or it's water blue kind of deal. So apparently different people from different cultures will see colors differently because their language is different. It's mind-blowing. Like ancient Latin, like in biblical text, they describe the sea as red wine, even though we know the sea is green. Apparently humans back then couldn't see the color blue or green the same way we see it now.
How sick would it be though? How sick would it be though if there was blood red, like way back when? Like
that'd be crazy.
Sick. That'd be insane. Like
I mean that also helps explain the stories, right?
Yeah, for real. They know about krakens and shit.
Yeah, crazy.
Like, you think they have krakens and there's not going to be a blood red sea? Like, come on.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the point is that being colorblind as a cinematographer or a VFX artist and just film in general, definitely very inconvenient. Always have a second pair of eyes to double check your work.
A lot of trust in the people you work with then.
Yeah,
moving
exactly.
Forward. Yeah,
I mean, that's just the process of filmmaking. You just have to have trust in your circle. And it takes a while to get there, It takes a while to build your circle and to create these relationships where ride or die, and no matter what it is, you know that you can rely on those people.
Yeah, that's definitely important. So my next question is for Tyler, and you're currently in LA.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us more about working as a post coordinator for your company. Employed by Netflix. What was that like? Can you tell us how you got in? Tell us.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so I was out in Vegas, and I was just kind of I think I was still going to UNLV. I was invited to go to this alumni event for UNLV, and I went and I met a very fine man named Jeremy. Not this Jeremy. Jeremy, you're
different
terrible.
Jeremy.
You're terrible,
Yeah,
Jeremy.
I'm a
God,
terrible person.
This other Jeremy was so much better. No, I'm just like.
Yeah, I'm the worst of all the Jeremys.
I mean, I went to the meeting. They all agreed, but
Yep. It's
you
a
see
Twitter
that
group.
Did you see that Josh fight? By the way,
Yes.
how
I want
sick is
something
that?
like that for all of us.
I know. Like, I was kind of mad that there wasn't a Tyler fight meetup.
Actually,
but,
I think I was added to a Jeremy group, and then I didn't read anything else on it.
oh, you're
Apparently,
like,
Jeremys are pretty terrible.
Yeah, I mean, no, Jeremys are great. I won't agree to that, Jeremy, but I do think, yeah. So I met this kind man, and eventually he ended up messaging me on Facebook that there was this PA position that was open. He saw like someone that he'd worked for. He was looking for a PA. So, and he was out in LA, and I said I would love to do it. So I basically packed up all my bags with Nadine. Nadine and I were like frantically putting stuff into trash bags as we were like, we're going to LA, I guess. And the job wasn't even confirmed, but we were just deciding like that we were just going out here. You know, we were just going to do it. Yeah. And
was it difficult to like settle in, like get an apartment? What was that?
Yes, it was very difficult to get an apartment. So we had been coming out here for weeks. Like, this was not like out of the blue, you know, that we were planning on coming out to LA. Like, the plan was like we were going to go, like, and we would find a job out there. We were going to find something to do. So when this PA job came through, I was like, I'm just going to do it, you know. And it was to be for a post PA job. So it wasn't just like on set PA kind of thing. It was like actually in the editing world, which is kind of what I wanted to end up doing. So, but anyway, like, we had been looking for these apartments, and they were so picky about it. It's just like, do you have a job already lined up? Do you have like credentials? Do you have like how much money do you have? Like all this crap of like there was this landlord named Brad. Oh, fuck Brad. Brad was an asshole because Brad, he was like, Brad said something to me. I was like, I'm going to go down to 7-Eleven just to pick up like some money order or whatever. I think we were talking about something. We were like talking about coming to this one apartment. He was like, oh, don't go to that 7-Eleven. 7-Elevens are dirty. Just something like really I just don't like him. We were like, fuck Brad. I hate Brads, by the way, now. But yeah, no, I mean, it was just such an asinine task to find an apartment out here. But what ended up happening is that my brother, who already lived out here, he ended up talking to his landlord, and literally the day that we like were coming out here, he had an opening for an apartment. And so we ended up getting an apartment thanks to my brother and thanks to him having such a good relationship with his landlord. And that was kind of how we ended up in LA, and ended up getting that job, and then ended up working for that company for a long time, for I think it was like 6 to 8 months, I think. Mm-hmm. And then that job ended, and then I didn't know what I was doing, and then the pandemic hit, and I was like freaking out. And then he hit me back up again, and he's like, "There's this position as a coordinator over at this job. Like, you worked alongside me, and we just it was the same post soup." And then he was like, "Do you want to do this?" And it's like a work from home gig for the pandemic, and I was like, "Yes, please, thank you, like, please." And ended up getting it that way, and it was just from there.
So what's it like working for like a big corporation?
I would say that, everyone talks about how much fun they have in corporate. Corporate is just so great. Everyone loves it. It's just like, you love meetings. I love meetings. I love going, like, just being in this Zoom, in this air meet right now. I'm just like, I just love it. No, I think I will say that it's just a different taste of the film industry, and I think like seeing it from this kind of more corporate side, where people are talking about like because where I work is just like a post house where they kind of like do hooks or trailers or whatever for Netflix. Like, Netflix just has an order, and then it just sends it over to our post house, and then gets put through there, and it's just like it's such like a clockwork kind of system. Like it's kind of interesting to see what that's like and how organized everything is, but also how slow everything can be as well. Like with like change or whatever needs to happen. But I think it felt like kind of a stable option for me, and I thought that it was something that I was just very fortunate at the time that it came through to have, and I'm very fortunate to have now. And I'm not sure how what my plans are for the future or whatever, but I am thankful for the job that I have, and just like the position that I'm in, because it is in where I want to be. I want to be in a post house. I want to be doing stuff. And I guess now I'm just kind of trying to expand while in this position, and like writing more of my own stories, and doing my own thing, which is kind of what I was doing before, but I didn't have a job, I guess. So I do feel very fortunate to have it, but corporate is corporate, and whatever anybody tells you about, corporate, like it being like kind of a slog with the meetings and everything, like it's true. The meetings can be a slog, but you meet some good people. You meet good people, and it's not always terrible. Nah, I mean, I think I'm doing it like not enough justice, but it is what it is, and it's so interesting just see like how just how it all works, I guess, behind the scenes, and just like how different it is from like working on like a film set where like everything can be so erratic, I guess, and like changing, and especially when the budget isn't as high, like for whatever, just like because we aren't able to afford like however many like PAs are needed to like go and run and get stuff, or like we weren't able to get like a locations person, so that they like we have to, like the director's wearing like 16 hats, like it's very different from that kind of environment, and I will say that I kind of miss that a bit as well. So yeah, I think this is a very long answer, but yeah, there's a lot of packed feelings about corporates, about corporations. So it's just a lot to unpack. So yeah, I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at about it. It's good. It's a mixed bag, but I am grateful to have and be in the position that I'm in. So.
Okay. Jumping off of that, then back to Jeremy and back to the business side. Since you are fortunate to have some of these bigger brands come to you, Ismahawk has been notably collaborating with brands such as IGN, Netflix, Rooster Teeth, to name a few. How did you go about working with them?
I feel like the more we do this, the more we realize how small the world actually is, because everyone really do know each other. And it starts with what Tyler was saying, building relationships, and for us in our market, when we started our YouTube channel, it was a lot of, geeky stuff, nerdy stuff, all sorts of awesome, Comic-Cons, like conventions, like those were our big markets at the time. And so we just make appearances at these conventions and start, as we were building audiences, like we do meetups and we talk to people and just literally just rub shoulders. And I think our biggest jump was when we were signed with a Studio 71, which was an MCN, multi-channel network, who is kind of like I guess in the new media world, the studio, like a network type thing, where they manage different channels. And so when you're in an MCN, you're signed with one, or you have connections to people who signed US talent, you get into industry parties, after parties at these conventions, because the Comic-Con itself, the convention, the show is for the fans, and then the after parties is for the industry. And so when you start making stuff and start making enough noise, you get invited to these things, or you kind of weasel your way in a bit, and you kind of just showing what you can do, and you meet people that way, and other like-minded individuals who are like. This is also a good lesson that you don't know who is going to make it. Like, general rule of thumb, just be nice to everyone. Like, that's just a human decency kind of thing. But like, you're nice to a person, you collaborate with them, they're cool. Eventually they get promoted, then they bring you on to their team, kind of deal. So it's just climbing the ladder, doing the social thing, and when it comes, but the baseline of it all is you need to be passionate about it. That's the thing. Like, because you don't want to do, if you don't want to do this, then why are you even doing it in the first place? You know, like, it doesn't help anyone in that regard. It doesn't help the person you're talking to. It doesn't help yourself either. So you have to really want to do it. And that's the start of it. Because once you do one thing, it leads to another. And I think the saying is, like, you can't make a movie unless you make a movie. Like, you literally just have to do it yourself and get started. And whatever opportunity pops up, I don't want to just say, like, oh, take it right away, but like, think about where you want to go with it. You know, like, is that the direction that we actually want to go? Because you don't want to lose your integrity along the way, and kind of, you know, I don't want to say sell out. That's not the right term, but you don't want to lose yourself. You know, so that's how we start working with people. You talk, you make relationships, make friends, and be genuine. That's really the lesson of it all. Like, if you're genuine, other people will recognize that. And one of the biggest lessons that we've learned, or at least me personally, is that the higher you get in the industry, you know, like up the totem pole, I guess, if you want to call it that, if there even is one, is that the most successful people all have the same values, like the integrity. Like, they're all genuine, they're all super nice, and they love what they do. That's it. If you share those values, everything kind of tracks together. Law of attraction type of deal, you know? So, but, yeah, just do what you love and be genuine about it.
That's good. That's good. I feel like we should, like, quote you guys and, like, put it on our Instagram. You know?
Please don't quote me. Please never quote me.
Oh my god!
I don't know what I've said for half of this.
You and chocolate.
Me neither.
Yeah. Okay, so that concludes all of our board questions for tonight. So at this time, we would like to transition over to questions from the audience. We're told that we do have quite a few questions from the audience. So we apologize if we don't get through everyone's questions. So feel free to leave any questions in the chat, and our moderators behind the scenes will gather those now if you haven't already, asked your questions or put it down in the chat. Also, by request from our community, we recently introduced our newest feature to Q&As, where we ask those who are unable to attend live. Sorry. So we recently asked our followers on Instagram and everywhere else, like, if they can't make it to the Q&A, to just submit their questions through our website. And we have a couple of those today, so we'll start with one of them. And our first question is from Natalie H. via our website, and it's for both of you. What advice would you give to your younger self?
Oh, wow.
Jeremy?
It's like one of those letters, dear 15-year-old me. Oh, man. There's so many different things. I feel like the biggest advice for my younger self is to trust the process, I guess. Like, you never know what's around the corner, so just focus on yourself, kind of deal. And I know that doesn't sound like much advice, but like I said, as you grow as a person, your views kind of change, and the way that you think changes. Like, literally the structure of your thinking changes. And so that same advice will resonate differently in different points of your life. And so, what I tell some people sometimes is write down your advice, like whatever you would say to your younger self, somewhere, and then reread it every couple of years. and that'll open up new doors.
Okay.
For me, I would say I would tell my younger self, stop watching so much hentai. Levi is not real. Do not, like, he's never going to be real. Just quit it.
Hey man, that's self-care.
Yeah, that's self-care.
That's another quote. That's another quote.
Yeah.
No, please.
Hentai, that's self-care.
Don't quote that. Don't. We're not recording this, are we? So,
everything on the internet is forever.
Oh God! Wow. Okay.
Lesson to learn, by the way.
I figured that out about hentai too. Funny enough, but I think I would tell myself, don't worry what other people think, you idiot. Just focus on what you want to do, and also quit being an idiot. You know, just actually like, if you don't start now, you know, you're not gonna start for a long time. So just do it.
Also, to add to that,
Yeah.
if you don't start now, then it's never going to happen. But also, there's no rush to start something. Like, there's no rush to chase something. Like,
Right.
that you live your life at your own pace, and everyone grows at their own pace. So it's not like, oh, I'm 50 years old and I haven't started filmmaking. I can't start now. Well, yeah, you still can. Like, anyone can start at any time they want.
Yeah.
There's no time limit on it. That is the bottom line of it. But like, like what you said.
Yeah, I think for me, like, I realized when I was like 20 that my biggest regret is that I didn't start this earlier. Start doing like filmmaking and like all this other stuff. But I realized that I would have just regretted it more and more every year that passed by that I did not start it.
Yeah.
And that was like it. That was it for me. So I was like, fuck it, dude. And
it's funny because I see people like this new generation of filmmakers. They have so many resources to their disposal, and to me, when I was younger, I was like, well, why didn't I start any sooner? You know, like, these kids are coming out of middle school, like, especially TikTok, genius. The storytelling on TikTok is on another level.
Yeah.
Like, this new generation of filmmakers and storytellers, unbelievable. And a naive me would be like, well, where was I when I was this old? You know, like, why wasn't I doing this already? But that's a dangerous game in itself, because you wouldn't be where you are if you didn't start at the time you started, whether it be late or early, you know? Like, you are who you are because you started at that time.
Yeah, for sure. Exactly.
To get a question from our live audience right now, we have one from Scott F. on YouTube. At what point did it occur to either of you that this was as deep of a passion as it is currently for you?
Sorry, can you repeat that question? I was just like blown away by the beauty of that name, by the way. I love Scott F's name.
You're
Scott
good.
F, you're great. I love you.
The question was, at what point did it occur to you that either of you... hold on. At what point did it occur to you that this was as deep of a passion as it is currently?
At what point I think, honestly, it was the first night after the first shoot of our first short film, and everything went wrong. And I was laying in bed, like, we did not get anywhere close to what we did, to whatever time, like, whatever we imagined we were going to get done on that night. Not even close to everything going right. It was the complete opposite. And I remember just sitting in bed, laying in bed, and I could not go to sleep because my brain was on fire. And it was like something I never felt before. Like, it was like this sensation that just like penetrated my soul, that this was something that I wanted to do. And before that, I had never had anything like that. And it was just, it was a really nice moment. And I think that was kind of when it happened for me. It was either that or like when I was reading the hentai and like I got to stop this. But you know, I think that's neither here
That's
nor
a
there.
realization.
That's a realization, but I think that I'm going to go with the first answer primarily.
I think it's the realization that you'd prefer filmmaking over hentai if you had to choose the two with a gun to
I
your
think
head.
that's it. Yeah. It's something like that. Yeah.
Something along those lines. That's how the story goes.
What about you, Jeremy? When was it for you?
I think it might have been after we had shot our short film Batman Nightwing, which was the first time we ever did anything Nightwing related. And we had made a couple of like 48s and a couple of videos before then, but that was our first like, oh, this is an idea we had. We want to sit down and like plan it out, and like this is the story we want to tell kind of deal. And it was literally me and Danny, and then maybe one other person who dropped out. So it was literally just me and Danny, and I'd set up the camera on a tripod, press record, run in front, and then we both stand and say, all right, is it rolling? Okay, let's one punch. All right, cut, and then run back behind the camera. That whole soon film type deal.
Yeah.
But it was after that shoot that I felt like my brain was on fire. Like no matter where this thing went or what kind of success it had or whatever promises we made, I would still I'm still constantly thinking about filmmaking and how to get better and better myself in that way. And that's when I realized that no matter what it is, even if I didn't make any money or whatever it is, I would still want to do this no matter how hard it was. And I think that was where I realized the passion was there. So
yeah, for sure.
Just took off. I don't know how else to explain it. It's a burning feeling. Literally, it's burning your mind, burning in your chest, kind of deal. And even when you're lying down to sleep at night, still burning, still there. You're still thinking about it. Probably why I can't sleep ever. But whatever.
Okay. Our next question is from Michelle, and she submitted through our website, and it's for both of you. So when you hit a creative block, how do you overcome it?
I feel personally creative blocks come from blocks in your personal life and not what you think it is. Like, it's not that you ran out of ideas. It comes from outside stressors. So take care of yourself. Self-care. I know that's everyone says that, especially now in this day and age on social media, like self-care is important, but it really is. Like, that's why we're talking about it. And in this age, like, we should be able to talk about that kind of stuff. So taking care of yourself, no matter, in whatever way it is for you, is important in removing those blocks, because creative blocks aren't from your creative mind. They're blocks from outside.
And what is self-care for you?
What's self-care? Damn, now you're putting me on the spot, asking me what my self-care is. It's like, should take my own advice. Jeez. This might be the hardest question out of all of them. Taking a break, I guess, would be the answer, but I don't know what a break is. I guess like there are different levels of breaks, whatever you want to call it. But like taking a break doesn't mean like, oh, I step away from my computer kind of deal. Like, I mean like a real break. Like, you're not thinking about what it is you're doing. But easier said than done, because if that's what your passion is, sometimes you can't turn off your brain. Like, it's a physically impossible. Like, it might be an issue, undiagnosed, but it's also about finding passions and other things outside of what it is you do in your career. So for me, it might be video games, or it might be driving and stargazing, or it might be visiting the ocean, because I used to live next to the ocean. The ocean always calls for you. Just little things like that to step away, and like things to get excited. Like, what think about what excites you outside of what it is you do, generally speaking. So I feel like that's kind of how I view my self-care, stepping away.
I totally agree, honestly. I think that if you have a creative block, if you find yourself stuck looking at this white page with the little blinking son of a bitch cursor and you can't come up with anything to write for that first line, you know, I think that the best thing to do is to step away. And for me personally, it's like going and hanging out with my friends. My friends have saved my life more times than they even realize. And shout out to Scott F. Shout out to Ryan Potts. Shout out to Nick Zagby. Shout out to Nico Giordano. Shout out to all y'all motherfuckers. But I love y'all. And I think that you guys help me be creative. And one last final shout out, I think, is to my beloved Nadine Natividad. She's right over there. And she's just chilling. And honestly, without her, I don't know where I'd be. So, and I think that they all really, really help support me through times like that.
Shout out to Nadine as well for Eccentric Artists, because she's a real one.
She's a real one. I know better than all of you how real she is.
You do.
That's right.
I hope you do.
Yes.
So we are approaching 8 o'clock. How do we feel? Do we want to do a couple more, or?
Yeah, sure. I'm down.
Okay. Okay.
Fuck it. Do it live.
Yeah.
All right. So speaking of Nick Zagsby, he did leave a question for us.
Oh, did he? Oh,
yeah, he
God.
did.
What did he say?
So he has a specific one for Tyler and then another one for Jeremy. So for Tyler, what has been your most rewarding personal accomplishment so far?
I think, honestly, it was just making stuff and people saying that they like what I had made, I guess. Like, anytime anybody says anything nice about anything that I've ever done, it always feels like the best personal accomplishment or whatever. Just because it means that somebody actually liked it, you know? I'm not just making little inanimate pawns kiss, you know? It's an actual thing that people like. I don't know if that's like a hentai section, but you know, might be able to get into that business later. So, yeah, I think that that's always really, really nice. Yeah, I think I honestly just whenever people are nice to me,
Please just be nice. I'm sorry.
The second part of the question from Nick is, Jeremy, what advice would you give to someone who is working on their first project?
Oh. Well, one, is it something that you really want to do, or is it something that you feel like you need to do? That's an important question to ask yourself. And two, this is a business, so can you actually do it? And you have to be honest with yourself. In terms of being able to deliver, because ambition plays a huge role in your ideas and where you want to go and the passion you have. And it's good to recognize that ambition and also see the line between the ambition and what's achievable currently, and being able to see steps ahead. And that obviously takes practice and time. And it's important to know what you're setting up currently, so that, you know, if you're starting out your first project, it will 100% not turn out the way you want it to, but it's a blessing in disguise, because something else will come down along the road, or you'll learn important lessons that will help you in your future, whether it be your career or personal. Bottom line is, finish it. Don't stall. Don't be like, oh, I gotta wait for this or that, or I don't have a camera. And you can always borrow stuff. There's plenty of resources. You have your phone. You can film on your phone. Like that kind of thing. Don't stall. Just finish the movie. Finish the damn thing. That's my best advice, honestly. If you're going to start something, finish it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of the things that I heard recently that stuck with me is start before you're ready, because you're always
Oh.
never going to feel ready.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that I tell people, and this is philosophy for me in video games. I play a lot of Rock Band. I love Rock Band and
Yes.
like all the instruments. Whenever I'm learning a new instrument, I'll play the song on easy once just to get the controls, and then after that I jump straight into expert. I don't care what it is. And that's it.
Right.
You jump before you're ready. You'll learn how to fly on the way down.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
our next.
sick, by the way. I just want to say that's sick.
Yeah, because it really forces you to restructure the way you think. Because like, and I'm using Rock Band as an example. Like when you start playing the guitar, I notice some people just press the button and then hit the string at the same time, and then that's not the way to play the guitar, especially on Rock Band or in real life. But like, when you jump straight to expert, the techniques forces you to learn how to actually play it. So when you jump into expert mode on whatever it is you want to do, no matter what it is, it forces you to restructure the way you think and how you thought of that process. And you'll learn things along the way, and you'll do better next time.
Okay, so our next question is from George, and he asks, do you feel pressure to create passion projects, especially if you haven't made something in a while?
Oh, yes. Yes, 1,000%. It feels like this creeping feeling, just like this shadow, just like, it's like slowly massaging my shoulders, like you haven't made anything in a while. You haven't made anything that you want to make in a while, and it's just like, it's just getting stronger hands all the time. It's just like, ooh, it's gross, you know?
It's like that shadow in the corner of the room while you're in sleep paralysis.
Yeah. It's just like, you haven't made anything weird. You like making weird things, but yeah. I totally feel that, and I totally feel like a pressure to the point of like depression. And I think that the best way to like try to combat that is again, you know, kind of what Jeremy was saying earlier about just like this. Yeah, if you're having a creative block and making something that you feel like you're passionate about or whatever, you just like take a step back and like look at other parts of your life and like work on those parts and like realize that not everything in the world is like about filmmaking. Like just take some time and just like work on other stuff and like live your life, you know, and think something will come, you know, something will come. It's not you, it's life, you know, it's just part of life. So just take a bite, I guess.
I'm fortunate enough to be able to say that every project we do is a passion project, and we're finally getting paid for it, which, you know, to all of you out there who's watching, it proves that you can do it. You can reach this point. But at a time when we haven't, or me personally, I haven't made anything super passionate, and it's just work, I am also fortunate enough to be able to just pick up a camera and go out and shoot whatever I want anytime I want. And that kind of like fills the gap in between these things. Or I go out for a drive, go stargazing. Like that kind of fills that same hole of like, oh, I haven't made something passionate in a while. It's a lesson that I learned as a cinematographer and as a filmmaker in general is that sometimes you don't need to press record. You don't need to look through the viewfinder. Sometimes I just want to enjoy the sunset instead of taking a picture of it. And that's something I learned in Cinema 2, actually, doing the thesis project for that, or like whatever the final project for Cinema 2 at UNLV was. It was a hard lesson to learn because sometimes you get so caught up in what it is you're trying to search for, and you don't stop to see the things that are already around you, right in front of you. You don't need to keep looking through the viewfinder. Just look at it with your own eyes. That's the best camera there is.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so I think one of our last questions for audience Q&A before we transition to our outro, we did have one from Danny Chandia, who is also in our 5th edition, along with y'all. And he asks on our website, "Hi there, what's your top 3 favorite movies?"
Kill Bill Volume 1, Shaun of the Dead. This is a tie. Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz are a tie for second, and then third is third. I have 4 fucking fingers up. Third. I'd have to check my notes, but that's 3 films. Shit, I can't remember. Oh God, what is it? Was it Scott Pilgrim? No, I don't think it's Scott Pilgrim. It might.
Scott Pilgrim's definitely up there.
Yeah, it's up there for sure. So I'll just put that up there. It changes all the time, but
yeah,
that's how I feel about it right now.
Oh, fuck. I don't know. Again, it changes all the time. Depends on my mood, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But off the top of my head, like you said, Scott Pilgrim, that's definitely up there.
Mm-hmm.
Dark Knight. Moonlight is incredible. Man, my brain is mush right now. I don't know.
I have more. I can list off.
Go ahead,
Hold on.
please.
Let me see.
Please,
Let me see. I'm looking up my note. I have it in my notes because I don't know why. Hold on. Okay, here it is. Oh, I had The Thing as third. You know The Thing.
Ooh,
I love The Thing.
the original Carpenter's.
Yes.
Okay. Solid.
Dude, that movie is sick. I have Whiplash
Dang.
down here. 12 Angry Men. Old Boy. The
original.
Yes. Yes. And then I have Truman Show. Anyway, I just wanted to pull that out. Maybe any of those ring any bells? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean all of them. They're on my list too. I love movies.
Cool. Yeah,
and I can always find I'm hard pressed to find movies that I hate because I find a lesson in all movies that I watch. Like even the really bad ones, in my opinion. Like I learned not to do that. You know, like there's always something to learn. So I don't know. Listing favorite movies, that's always hard for me. Same listing favorite anything is hard for me. You know, I go where the wind takes me.
Shout out to Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah. The Room, it's up there.
Oh, God, classic.
We have one last important question to ask. This is really important.
Okay.
Shrek 1 or Shrek 2?
100% nostalgia. Like it's just the perfect structure.
Okay.
It literally all of Shrek 1 is literally about anti-establishment and anti-franchise type thing, and then they kind of fell into that hole. But that's beside the point. Whatever.
Human Shrek?
Human Shrek? Is that
Human
what you just said?
Shrek? Yes.
Okay, so listen. Here's my thing. Okay, I've been waiting a long time to answer this fucking question. So,
go on. Shrek is love.
2,
Shrek is life.
Shrek 2 was my original answer to this question. But after a lot of thought and a lot of deliberation, I realized that somebody once told me that the world was going to roll me and that I wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed. Shrek 1. Shrek 1.
I need a hero. Human Shrek. Puss in Boots' eyes. Get out.
Oh, it's a banger for sure. Shrek 2 is incredible.
Great. Great for the music. Great for the music.
For sure.
I'm an advocate for Shrek 2, of course. But yes.
Thank
you for answering that.
All right, so that wraps up our session 2 of Featured Artist Q&As. Thank you to both of you, Tyler and Jeremy, for taking the time to talk to us today, and we truly appreciate it. So if you want to check out more about, what they do and look at their websites or YouTubes, all of their social media, check it out on our website. We have their links there, and it's www.eccentricartists.space, and be sure to follow them. Tiffany?
And then before we sign off, Eccentric Artists would like to quickly plug some upcoming events. Once again, Eccentric Artists is collaborating with Nevada Women's Film Festival this year as the executive committee. So we recently released a trailer for the official selections that I edited. So head on over to NevadaWomen'sFilmFest.com for more details. The virtual festival will run from June 21st to the 27th.
And our next simulcast theater production is Last Step of 1962, written by Shay Simone, and it's fully casted. So right now we're currently going through rehearsals, and we are going live on Saturday, May 22nd at 7 p.m. So I'll be the one hosting. If you want to know more about the writer and the actors and the whole, and if you want to read the script, it's on our website under Collective Space, Last Step of 1962. Be sure to check it out.
And also another reminder that our experimental film challenge is coming to some submission deadline at the end of this month. So Sunday, May 30th at 8 p.m. PDT. We're anticipating a very cool lineup for everyone. And if you'd like to join, let us know and register on our website. It could be a performance art, a TikTok. It doesn't matter. Anything goes. We're accepting it.
All right, and lastly, we have our film club discussion, and we'll be talking about the critically acclaimed movie Portrait of a Lady on Fire, which will be on June 12th at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. So it's just in time for Pride Month, so hell yeah, don't forget to watch it and come through. And you can watch it on Hulu with a subscription or rent it on places like Amazon, YouTube, and Google. So you can find the details all on our website. Be sure to RSVP. And yeah.
I think that's it for tonight. Tyler, Jeremy, if you'd like to make any quick shout outs or closing statements, by all means, go ahead.
Jeremy, you want to go ahead? I jumped on that
Mom.
just to get you out there, man. Okay, sorry.
Thanks. Oh my God! Shout out to my mom. Hi, Mom.
Oh.
Hi, Jeremy's mom.
Hi, Jeremy's mom.
I don't know if she's even watching, but I just wanted to shout her out. Oh man, she's not even online anyway, so I don't know. Tyler?
All right. Shout out to my fam. If they're watching, I don't know if they're watching either, Jeremy. They're an enigma to me, but I again don't know where they are. But I think I also want to shout out to just anybody that I did not shout out to. When I was doing all my shout outs, I hate you. 1,000% I hate you. So you helped me. You helped me with none of my success. Just making sure it's very clear that that's what it is. So yeah, I think that'll about wrap it up.
Hentai for life.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. And for everyone viewing right now, we appreciate it. And we hope you have an excellent night. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, guys. This is awesome.